So here I'm going to fly a 1300 milliamp battery, and there's nobody here at the field but me, so I'm going to be doing all this on my own, including the video. So first thing I'm going to do is turn on my transmitter, and while that's booting up, I'm going to go ahead and plug in my low voltage. And you can see I've got it set. Let's see, it should be set for 3.6, and that's exactly what it's set for. So now we're going to go ahead and plug in the model. And then we're going to mount the battery. So I'm going to put the battery about an inch back from this where it normally is, and then I'm going to mount the low voltage cut off, and looks like we're fixing to get a little sprinkle. Take a little shot here of, yeah, we got a little bit of a water cloud up there, but I think we'll be all right. So I'm going to step out. I'm going to set my camera up here just where you can get, maybe you can get a shot. Of the launch. And we're going to be looking for time. So you can see right now on my radio, we've got 3 minutes of flight time is marked, and the lower timer will run as soon as I advance the throttle. Okay. Now I am going to make my little flip here, because we figured out that if I flip the camera over, I can do a much better job of videoing. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start looking for, actually I'm going to have to land because here comes the rain. Well, maybe it won't be that bad. Nope, I think there the rain came and there the rain went. So the rain's still trying to come a little bit. So now what I'm going to do is throttle back here. I'm just kind of lower the throttle a little bit. And of course with the rain we lose that little bit of lift that we were getting from the thermals. I'll just do a little radio trimming. And once you get up high, then I can throttle back. And get a little more life out of the battery. But the idea is I like to get up high and just kind of tool around, just see how long I am able to fly. Now you can hear the timer going off on my radio. So that means that's a 3-minute mark. So I've been up 3 minutes. And I should be able to stretch this out to about maybe 5 minutes with a 1300 milliamp battery. Even though I don't have a lot of lift. So you can see that I'm just slowly starting to throttle back now. not making real big turns, and just kind of keeping it into the wind. Just trying to keep it so that I'm using the energy wisely, shall we say. And that was a... Now I've just heard the beeper start to go off. Maybe you can hear that. So what I'm going to do now is start lowering the power. And now I've lowered the power to the point where the beeper has stopped going off. So what that's done is let my battery recover. And at this point, we've been up 5 minutes, or almost 5 minutes. Now you can hear the low voltage alarm starting to go off more. So I'm really going to throttle back now. And I am flying upwind. So this way the model is going to be blown back toward me and not further away from me. So this way I don't have to worry about coming down. I can actually milk this flight for all the flight time I can get. And again, the model is upwind of me. And I highly recommend that you always fly upwind, because it's easier to have the wind blow it back to you than it is to have to go get it. So now we've been up, let's see, my timer's reading 6 minutes, almost 6 minutes. Yeah, the one timer's 6:03, so now you can hear the alarm even going off more. And now it's stopped. So it'll be interesting to see just how long a flight time I get out of this. There, the alarm is back again. So now I'm slowing down even more. Now I'm going to fly and land and shoot the videos. So now you can see a bucking going on, so that means I've gotten too slow with the power, so I'm just going to increase the power a little bit. And now you can see the buck. Watch, I'll let the bucking start again. Here you'll be able to see the bucking. There's the bucking. See the bucking? So we just give it a little more throttle and it'll stop that. And we come in and land. And now we can see those timers. One is at 2:15. The other one was at about 7:15 whenever I actually touched down. So 7:15 was the total time. And let's see what the voltage is on the model. $732. So as you can see, I milked that for all I could get. 732 is a little bit low. I usually want to stop at 7.4, but 732 is okay. And again, that was with a 1300 milliamp 30C battery. I'm going to go ahead and start my radio. Again, you'll notice the timer set for 3 minutes on the motor and 0 on the flight time. And then I'm going to go ahead and plug up a battery into my low voltage cutoff, get that started, and power up the model. Okay, now I'm going to set the battery on here, put it about where I think it needs to be, and just for kicks I will show you exactly where I put that battery. I'm guessing right about there is a good place for it. Now let's see if we get the takeoff for you. Okay, again the radio is at 0 and 3. We got a little bit of wind, so we're climbing, and that's what we want to do. And I'm going to keep it into the wind. Now whenever I'm flying, I'm not moving the stick more than probably a quarter of an inch in either direction, because I don't want to make abrupt turns. Because whenever I make an abrupt turn, I'm going to lose a little bit of altitude and a little bit of momentum. And I'm going to lower the throttle a little bit, and it should climb. Yeah, see, I'm steady climbing there. And one other thing is you want to stay flying upwind. If you have no obstacles, you want to stay upwind, because it's a lot easier for the model to be blown back to you than it is to wish you could make it back to where you started. And the wind can come up, it can die down, but more importantly it can come up at any time. So you want to be sure and fly upwind if you can. Now I'm starting to ease back on the throttle even more, and this is going to give me longer flight time. Again, I'm still headed into the wind, and I just want to catch it just so that I start to climb, because I'm looking for altitude. I mean, I don't want to get there in a real big hurry, because that's going to cost me flight time. So I just want to kind of gradually go up there. And you can see I'm actually climbing without having to increase the power. I'm actually decreasing the power to climb, because again, I'm not upsetting the model. I'm doing everything nice and slow, and the results are paying off. So it's a different, maybe it's a different type of flying, maybe it's a different style of flying. And you know what, this might not be the way you're supposed to fly an ornithopter, but for me it gives me the best flight time, and so I like a lot of flight time. And so for me it works. Now you can hear the timer going off on the transmitter, which simply says we've been in the air for 3 minutes now with the power on. So I've got 3 minutes out of that battery so far. And depending on how much throttle I use, will dictate when the other alarm goes off, and that would be the alarm on the model. Because remember, I have a low voltage cutoff on the model, and so far I haven't heard it go off yet. And again, we're flying with a 1300 milliamp battery, and we're just kind of tooling around up there. You notice the wind pushing me around, because I'm not steering in that. All I want to do is stay into the wind so that I can get some lift off of it. And there you can see it's actually doing really well. Okay, so that's the timer letting me know we've been up 1 minute past the 3 minutes, so now we've been up 4 minutes on that 1300 milliamp battery, and still no sign of the low voltage cutoff yet. Okay, there's the low voltage cutoff. I've just heard it. Maybe you can hear it. So now what I'm going to do is start lowering the throttle even more, and the low voltage cutoff is going to silence because now the batteries have been able to recover. And I'm up pretty high, so I'm probably going to be just above 7.3 with my voltage on the battery. I mean, I could come in and land now and be well above the 7.4 that I want to be at, but I want to kind of get a little more flight time, so usually I can enjoy my flight rather than talk about it. But I figure since I was asked about my actual flight times, I would put it on video so you could see in real time what my flights are and what my flying style is as far as how I get those. And you can see that I'm still up pretty high, and we're at 5 minutes and 42 seconds in the air so far. So going on 6 minutes. And again, that is a 1300 milliamp battery. Okay, so now we're 6 minutes in the air on a 1300 milliamp, and there's the low voltage cutoff again. So I'm going to lower the throttle more, and now it's going to start really going off because I know that the battery's getting low because it's been going off for almost a minute now. So I'm going to lower even more. Now you're going to start to see the model start bucking here in a minute, and it's what that is it's just I've got to the point where I've actually gotten the flap rate too slow, and so it's going to start bucking. It's trying to do it now, but it's staying pretty steady. As long as it moves forward, there the bucking started. So there's the bucking. So now I'm going to increase and come around. And again, I'm shooting the video and I'm going to fly and land. So here I'm coming in for the land. And I caught the edge of the runway there, but that's fine. So now let's go take a look. Okay. Now see what I mean about it's fine. Okay. Let's look at the timer, or the voltage. Okay, all is 731. So I knew it was going to be 7.3. I'd like to be at 7.4. So, but 731 is okay. I'll take that. And you can see we were 319 above the motor time. So that means almost 6.5 minutes of actual run time on the motor. So that's a 6-minute flight with no problem. And I think at 6 minutes I would still be at 7.4 on the voltage. Okay, I'm going to turn on my transmitter, and we're going to see 3 minutes and 0 minutes. Then I'm going to go ahead and plug up my low voltage cutoff, and then I'm going to plug in the model. This is a 1300 milliamp 30C battery. So, and I'm going to mount my battery about right there. And now you can see where the battery's mounted. Normally the battery is going to be about right here, but after you get familiar with the model, you can actually start sliding your battery back to where you like it. Also, my voltage, you can see 418, 419, so 837, 8.37 is my voltage. Now, what I'm going to do in this video is going to be something different. This video I'm going to show you the launch. provided the camera picks it up. And then I'm going to show you my stick movements. Okay, so we're looking to climb, and I'm using just enough power to climb. And I kind of want to stay upwind. I don't kind of want to stay, I want to stay upwind, because upwind gives me the most flight time. You're thinking, well, how does that give you more flight time if you're upwind? Well, it gives me more flight time because I can worry about flying instead of worrying about whether or not I'm going to make it back to the field. So I generally will launch and I will fly upwind and get upwind enough, and then I'll start slowing down the flap rate and try to maintain some altitude. So you can see right now that I'm just barely climbing, but my power, I've been able to keep the same power that I started with. So now I'm going to start lowering my power a little bit and see if I can maintain that climb. Now, I'm not going straight up, but I am going up. And again, I'm staying into the wind. One other thing about my flying is that the stick movement, I'm not moving the stick more than probably 1/4 of an inch, maybe 3/8 of an inch at the most in any given time. So what that does is it keeps from bleeding off momentum, and it lets the wings do their job as far as generating some lift. Because when you turn, it's going to have a tendency to spoil one side or one wing, and therefore you're not going to get the lift that you're going to get if you don't do that. So, and so far we've been up 2 minutes and 21 seconds is what my timer's saying on the radio. And you can see I'm just kind of back and forth, side to side. I'm just more or less tacking, not flying straight into the wind, but not letting the wind get to my tail either. Okay, looks like the time is at, we've been 3 minutes in the air, because there's the motor timer. Now what that's done is normally 3 minutes is what I get with a 1,000 milliamp battery. So this is a 1300, and depending on how much throttle I use will dictate how much actual flight time I get. And I have gotten as much as 7 minutes. However, the wind has dropped some, and well, actually now it's starting to pick up again. But earlier today I got one flight that was 7 minutes and 15 seconds actually, without hurting or abusing the batteries. So now the timer's starting to go off. The low voltage cutoff is going off on the model. So I'm going to lower the power, and let's see, we've been in the air 4 minutes, and so I'm going to guess that I can get another minute, so that's 5 minutes on a 1300 milliamp battery. I could probably stretch it and even get more than that, but I do not want to abuse my battery. So what I do is generally I'll try to land at 7.4, no lower than 7.4 volts, and by doing so I'm not hurting the battery. Right now we've been up 4 minutes and 42 seconds, and I'm still up there pretty high. I'm not hearing the low voltage cut off again, so that's good. And the reason you're not hearing it is because I've lowered the flap rate and the batteries have recovered. And there we're 5 minutes in the air. So again, I've kept the flap rate now pretty low, so I am descending, but I am still flying. Now, whenever I descend, as I descend, you notice the wind starting to pick up too. And that's allowing me to climb. So I'm still getting some more flight time. Actually 5.5 minutes now. 5 minutes 25 seconds to be exact. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this around. Now keep in mind I'm going to be flying and shooting the video. So we'll see if this landing is better than the last one. Okay, so now I'm going to slow down even more. Notice I'm losing altitude. I'm shooting for the runway out in front of us here. Now I'm going to pick up the flap rate a little bit so that I can make it back. Nice and steady with the controls. I'll slow the flap rate. And we land. And we're right in front of us. So now, let's take a look at the battery. We can see 634, 635, 636, so that's 6 minutes. Notice the 302, that's with the motor running plus the 3 minutes initially. So that's 6 minutes and 2 seconds of actual motor run time. So it's over 6 minutes. 738 on the battery voltage. So we look at the battery voltage and 738. So 738, which is not far off of 7.4 with a 6.5 minute flight time on a 1300 milliamp battery. And the wind is coming up, so the birds still want to fly, I think. And you can see now that battery's recovered a little bit more. 739, so it's going to be 7.4 before it's all said and done. And there's the 7.4. So it didn't take but just I don't know, less than a minute for that battery to recover back to 7.4. So again, I'm pretty easy on the equipment, and there you've seen how I go about flying the model and how I get the long flight times. So if you have any questions, you can send me an email. I'll be glad to help you. Thanks for your time and enjoy the hobby. Here you can see I'm coming off of a 9-minute flight. Now this is with a 1800 milliamp battery, and the wind is starting to come up. You can see it's getting pretty cloudy, and but I'm going to go ahead and make the flight here. I've slowed down the flap rate trying to save some battery, and I'm up high enough. I think I'm just going to glide. So I'm going to glide now. So we're going to glide down. Actually, I'm thinking I'm going to glide all the way in. I'm not going to get back on the flap rate. We'll just let it come all the way down. Glide all the way down. I'll probably have to walk to go get it, but you know what, it'd be alright. It's coming almost straight down. And there it is. That was pretty high up. You can see the wind is blowing pretty good. And the clouds looks kind of nasty. Got some rain over there. Let's go out and take a look at the battery. Oh, actually, let's look back. The timer's set it. It's 10:30 right now. I've been down for a few seconds, but you can see up here my motor time is 6 minutes. That's over the amount of time that's on there, which is 3 minutes, so that's 9 minutes of actual motor time. So that was a 9-minute flight with because as soon as I lower the power, the timer stops, and my glide is not counted in that. And we can see that the voltage 732. See, I knew it was going to be lower than the 7.4 that I like it, but at least it's not lower than the 7.3. And you can see the patch of grass that I landed in. It's not much grass there, but I will dust off those gears before I rotate, and should be good to go. Again, that was a 2-cell 1800 milliamp battery, and that's a 30C battery, I believe. Nope, that's the 40C battery. So 40C 1300 milliamp offers about 9.5 minutes of flight time. So that's say 30 seconds of glide, which I know it was longer than that, but the 6 minutes plus the 3 minutes it's on there, you can see here, so 6 and 3 is 9, so 9.5 minutes. Close to a 10-minute flight on a 1800 milliamp battery.